and welcome back to the Catch Up Corner for Steven Universe.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is gonna be a fun one. Time with the crystal gems, honestly.
This is another one that, even though it is geared towards children and it is like a children's show, it's you have much more of an appreciation for it as you grow up, and
Oh,
it's
for
the
sure.
exact same thing with, I feel like, with the majority of the ones that we're talking about for this
Yeah,
theme. Like, I feel like at least 3 out of 4 is like,
really.
at least 3 out of the 4 are like geared toward children, but you appreciate them more as you,
Which
yeah, when
three?
you're an adult. Everything but Fairy Tale.
Everything but fair. Okay, yeah,
Fairy Tale is not
yeah.
geared towards kids.
No, no, it's teens, and even then, that can be a
Yeah.
little debatable.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the latest chapter today. Oh, babe, wow, wow, I'm fucked up. We got a human form reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah, of someone.
Of someone, yeah.
And,
You're right. Benson's working on not giving me spoilers.
And I hate to say it, but he's hot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hold on, wait. I'll give you a picture, but I won't show you the name. Okay?
Okay.
I'm gonna leave you in suspense. I know it's supposed to be about Steven Universe, but I'm just saying,
Okay.
we gotta show this live on air. It doesn't even give the name.
Okay.
So, human form.
Oh, he is hot.
I know, right?
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to know who that is?
No.
Okay, good. Keep it that way.
Okay.
I hate
back
to
to
leave you in the
Steve-
dark, but I had to do that. Anyways,
Back
Steven
to
Universe.
Steven Universe. What is Steven Universe?
It is following this person named Steven Universe, who is a child that is in the care of 3 aliens known as the Crystal Gems. And they are training him to use his gem powers, and it starts off as wacky hijinks, and then shit hits the fan with other worldly crystal gems and aliens, and a plot unveiling with something involving his mother years ago. And then the Diamond Authority gets into play. It's very loose description, but there's a lot of fun
Yeah,
shit. And then there's the aftermath in Steven Universe Future.
Yes.
Which, okay, let's talk about, before we get into it, what were your first thoughts on this show? Because genuinely, until maybe the end of the first season 2 even, this was just like episodic wacky hijinks. There wasn't really a lot of big connected lore to fit in other than about Steven and his mom. So, what would you say were your thoughts on that first season?
I was totally okay with it. Like, if this had continued, I definitely would have been fine with it just being like an episodic adventure of Steven and the Crystal Gems and all of the hijinks that they get into. Even in the more serious episodes, like, I would have been totally fine if they weren't connected in any way. Although it is a nice bonus that we got.
I will say, the first season's so boring.
Really?
You watch the first season, there are some things that, are important, but, like, up until a certain moment with Jasper and Peridot reveals, like, I don't think you need to watch the first parts of the season.
It's fair,
okay.
But I still loved it.
It's the fucking Mr. Fry episode.
Hey, man.
I know everyone likes to quote that one, but it's for a good reason. They made Steven naked, and his clothes sentient.
Listen, sometimes you just need those silly, goofy TV shows that don't have much of a plot. But that's not really what Steven Universe is.
It's weird, though, because it's such a stark contrast, like, it wants to build up, and I feel like that does it an injustice. And also, the animation kind of wasn't the best.
Okay.
It was okay. It went better as it went on, and more things started to come into play, but it was okay.
Okay. I asked this one in the last episode, but what made you want to introduce this to me?
I don't know. It was current for me. I was liking it and enjoying it, and then Steven Universe Future and the movie were around the corner, I think, so I thought it'd be something you'd enjoy. Plus trauma bonding. I think it's another case of, like, the characters. It's another character-driven show. There's an overarching story, but a lot of these character episodes are character-driven, where shit hits the fan, and a lot of issues and being held back in regards to the general story is because of character stunt and character growth. So, yeah, that's all.
So the crystal gems are all based on
Gemstones, yes.
that we know. We have garnet, pearl, we have amethyst,
lapis lazuli,
lapis,
peridot, and that's not even going into like the fusions.
Yep.
Because gemstones can fuse if they form a bond with somebody, let's put it. So they can fuse, except for the rare case, which we can get into, I guess, in a minute. But yeah, there are fusions as well. And they have their own weapons, their own fighting styles, and their own roles in their gem society. And the crystal gems are rebels against those roles, essentially. Which is the very big case in one character. So let's just get into it, I guess, with the plot.
Yeah.
And
so they're all connected.
I wasn't fucking finished.
You cut me off at least twice.
No. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
finish your
Age
thought.
before beauty.
They're all connected by Steven's mother, which Benson just briefly touched upon.
Rose quartz.
Yeah. And basically... what we find out is that gems can have children, however, they sacrifice like their physical body in order to do so.
It's a rare feat because rose quartz is the only one to have done it. Well, in the case of a human, though. So, yeah.
Yeah, she fell in love with a human, and they created Steven.
Greg.
And in order for Steven to be born, she had to die. So a lot of the later seasons and later episodes is Steven living with the fact that he's living, so his mom is not living.
Yeah.
And it's a really tough watch at certain points.
It can get tough. I mean, he never knew his mom, obviously, so that's always a tough part. Is what is with these shows and having dead parents? I love it. This 3 of the 4 things have dead parents to some degree. Fairy Tale, we never touched upon dead parent aspects. What is it? Avatar, we have dead parent aspects. And now it's Steven Universe, and they play huge parts, but not as all as it seems. And this show, I will say, actually, before we get into one of the biggest selling points of the show, in my opinion, let's talk about the plot once we do get some lore, because now we get introduced to other gems like Peridot and Jasper, who are out to basically, what's it called? Destroy, like, colonize Earth. Gems want to colonize and conquer under the rule of the diamonds. And the Crystal Gem War was obviously years ago. Earth almost was colonized, but the Crystal Gem Rebellion fought back. So that now leads us into Peridot and Jasper finding out about the Crystal Gems and coming to Earth to conquer them. So, shit hits the fan. Obviously, over time, we get introduced to the diamond rule, which, because there are 4 diamonds and they are the overall rulers of said kingdom. What did you think of this lore? And by the end of it all, like, give me your thoughts, because there's a lot that happened. The colonization of Earth, the fact that there's mutated gems in the core of Earth, essentially, that almost exploded and combined to destroy Earth from the inside out. Corruption of gems. Gems can get corrupted and turn into these monsters. That is one of the missions of Steven and the Crystal Gems, and eventually we do get the finale with the diamonds. What were your thoughts on the lore of this world?
Yeah, this is where it really started to come to a head, and the plot really started to like come together, and it became less episodic and more linear.
Yeah. There were still some episodes, I feel like, that diverted.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like every show, when they get like this serious, every show has those filler episodes where you need a little bit more of a lighthearted approach, and that's totally
Peridot's Roadrunner bullshit. That was a good filler, I will say. I'm not a fan of filler much, but that was a good filler episode.
It's a tough watch, not just because of the content, but because of what it does to our characters. This is a heavily character-based show.
Mental health show.
Yeah, mental health show, 100%. And even, like, our characters who try not to, like, Amethyst is a huge go with the flow kind of person. She doesn't really like letting her emotions show, and when you see something hit her, you know it hits her hard because it's very rarely that she shows that side of her.
Oh, the episode I feel like we all probably look at and go, Amethyst, fuck you, and I feel like it's still held back loving Amethyst a lot in the future, is when her and Greg started to hang out again. And then, I forget the exact thing, but Greg just couldn't hang out as much. And so what does she do? She kind of taunts him by transforming into Steven's dead mom and traumatizes his father and him.
Yeah, yeah.
She
takes emotions to heart, like, and she takes things too far sometimes.
Sometimes.
But like, it's her coping mechanism, and like Benson said, this is a show about mental health. And
now, let's be clear, it's not an excuse either.
No, and I'm not saying it is, but it is very much about the ways that people, in this case Crystal Gems, deal with mental health, and like there are a million different ways to grieve.
Yeah, and there's so much trauma, and she is technically the youngest of the bunch, so there's that as well.
And there's a lot that, like, even Steven's learning, and this show is literally about him, but because Amethyst is the youngest, there's a lot she doesn't know. So we're learning things as even she learns them.
Yeah.
As somebody who is a Crystal Gem, and it's such an interesting outlook. Like, this is Steven's show, but you also get to see things through the eyes of the Crystal Gems.
And the cast does expand. As mentioned before, Peridot actually becomes a part of the plot, learning to love the Earth. That's her favorite character.
I love her. No. She's not my favorite, but she grew on me.
Lapis Lazuli, who's one of my favorites, that's a really good one, honestly. That's a cute couple, too. Those two are cute. I'm sad we never saw a fusion for them. Yeah. Pearl is easily the most 50-50 character of the entire show.
Yeah.
She is also Rose Quartz's ex-lover and blames Greg, and basically blames Greg and the humans while being a snobby asshole most of the time. She means well sometimes, and there is some moments where you do feel bad for her because she did lose the love of her life, or who she thought was her love, to, like, someone that's a human. She lost a very close relationship, and whether it was reciprocated or not, she did lose somebody close to her, at the very most a friend.
Yes.
So it's tough, but she also has easily the most questionable decisions in overall. When Peridot basically, like, kept invading or trying to rebuild portals, Garnet kept destroying them, and they kept destroying the tower of communication that she was doing, and that required Garnet and Pearl to fuse, because the last time Garnet and Amethyst fused, it was extremely reckless. Fun fact, that character has aged well, because she was voiced by Nicki Minaj, the Amethyst and Garnet fusion. Boo! Anyways, had to get that one out of my system. I think we can all agree on that one. Fuck Barbie. Not the Barbie movie, but fuck whatever she calls herself. I never stand at her, and honestly, this just proves it, as she supports Donald. So, basically, they're destroying towers, and they keep thinking Peridot's building them. So Amethyst and Steven stake out. Turns out, Pearl missed the feeling of fusing because it's a closeness type of bond, and she's looking for anything to fill the gap. So she kept rebuilding the tower and faking it, which then damages the Crystal Gem dynamic for a good few episodes, as there is a serious mission going on, and honestly, Pearl kind of caused the cataclysm of events with Jasper, especially, I feel like, because they could have been looking for Peridot, and they were spent wasting time on this tower. So yeah. And that's the tip of the iceberg, I feel like. There's a couple moments where I look at a lot of the characters and I go, whoa! But they kind of, like, grow and learn from it. Pearl, you don't get that completely. Like, at all, I feel like.
She is such a tough character because I want to love her so much. But she makes such awful decisions. And she comes across as, like, being a know-it-all and being so wise and smart, and like she thinks she knows everything, and then you see such character flaws, and everybody has flaws, and it's good to see that even crystal gems who have powers and everything have those flaws. But you can't act all high and mighty when you make these kind of mistakes, and that is the main reason I do think that Pearl is my least favorite.
I mean, at least with Amethyst, because someone's probably saying, you already mentioned she turned into her dead mom. Amethyst, at least, I feel like, grew and redeemed herself in some ways with her immaturity. She just became, like, slobby and continued to be, like, slobby and whatever-ish, like a teen. And not just, I'm gonna turn into your dead mom type of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she redeemed herself a bit. And it does show when she is the first to, spoiler alert, fuse with Steven out of the crystal gems, which was cute, you know? Because it works because they have that sibling bond. You know what crystal gem we haven't said anything bad about because they really can do no wrong? Fucking Garnet.
Garnet is my favorite.
Garnet, the most she's gotten away with in regards to doing wrong things is being a protective mother / liar when it comes to certain things.
Yeah, Garnet is my absolute favorite. She's the most badass of the three. She's also the most level-headed.
She's also fucking hysterical.
And she's funny. I mean, she has more of like a dry sense of humor, but yeah.
A touch of the tism.
She is the most funny. And it's just because I don't think she means to be funny. She doesn't realize she's
Sometimes
joking.
she doesn't know.
No, most of the time she doesn't. She doesn't realize she's making a joke. It's just the deadpan and like the way she comes off as like seeming like she's serious. It's so funny. It's so
hysterical.
Cute. She's so wholesome. She does really keep the group together.
She is the glue. Like they make that joke a lot, but genuinely, you know, that's right, karma. I cut you off, but she does keep it together, which is funny given their history. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about the plot and let's talk about the plot.
I thought we were talking characters first.
Well, we've been talking characters and like the plot coming together.
We haven't gone into a lot of characters though. Like we've literally just talked about the main.
Well, I asked about the plot too after it all came together with the lore, which ties to the characters because, well, I mean, let's talk about those characters then. Sure, why not? Go ahead. No, go ahead. Talk about your autistic
Even
emerald.
Even though there's so many things that we haven't discussed.
Talk about your
like
autistic.
Like Sapphire and Ruby.
Shh. You are the gem called Shut the Fuck Up-ite. Anyways, talk about your autistic emerald, aka Peridot.
Peridot.
Okay.
Peridot is me in gem form.
What?
Peridot is me in gem form.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean, what am I talking about?
What do you mean? Exactly what I said. What do I mean?
She's angry. She insults people, but...
Half the crystal gems insult people.
But she has a heart of gold.
A heart of gold.
She's an angel. Down deep. Way deep. No, I'm just kidding. She is probably the funniest character because of just how angry she gets. She's a little thing. Little
very
bean.
Short, yay high.
And she does not let that stop her from completing the missions that she needs to complete. It's so
stubborn.
She's so stubborn.
Yeah, I'm starting to see the vision.
Loves calling people clods. That is her main insult.
Oh my god, the first time we realize she's a crystal gem is she's reporting to Yellow Diamond, and she's getting second after being trapped on Earth. She's like, oh my god, I've grown to love this place. Maybe I shouldn't turn my back on the crystal gems. And the Yellow Diamond's like, what do you know about the Earth? And she's like, apparently more than you clod. And I'm like, oh! Like,
so
fucking nuts.
Funny. But literally you see how much she grows to care. She just shows it in a different way than most people, and that way happens to be insulting you.
She watches teen dramas.
Watches teen dramas.
On VHS.
And her relationship with Lapis is very, very cute.
It's adorable.
I always say if I'm Peridot, Benson is Lapis.
What the? Okay, yeah, I can't even argue that. Okay, but why? Who is Lapis?
Lapis has a lot more trauma than some of the other gems that we have met.
I mean, first of all, she was trapped in a magic mirror.
Yeah.
That's how Steve and her became friends, because she was talking through Steven's reflection, whatever he used to say.
Yeah, and she just continues to go through more trauma. So eventually, when Peridot and Lapis meet each other and like start forming a friendship, like that's the first real friendship that Lapis has had that we have seen, other than Steven.
Well, we missed the biggest part of the trauma, Jasper.
Yeah.
Jasper, when Jasper came to Earth to kidnap everybody, and Lapis basically used her water powers to fuse with Jasper and keep them fused together, so that way Jasper could never escape, which really traumatized, Lapis Lazuli, which, when you go back to my comment about how we never got a fusion of them, it makes the most sense, because fusion was a trap and a prison for her.
Yeah, which I can respect.
Oh, for sure.
I do wish this show went on a little longer, because I would have loved to see their relationship dynamic grow. First of all, this show is so feminine friendly. It's LGBTQ friendly.
A lot of non-binary and definitely femme characters.
Yes.
All the crystal gems to
are...
some degree. Even like the ones that could come off male presenting, it's more of a non-binary approach to some degree, which is interesting. There's not a lot of outwardly male gems.
I don't think there are any.
No, not to my well, no, Rainbow Quartz 2.0.
Oh.
When Steven and Pearl fused towards the end of the show.
Oh,
it was the British dude.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, that was the British dude. And technically the other fusion, that's male, but we'll get into that when we get into that too with the lore. But as you were saying about what was it, Lapis and the characters?
Yeah. I think I was done with was I done with Lapis?
I don't know. You had more trauma. We went over Jasper and the fusions. There is a couple others. Lion.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about Lion.
How could you forget? You loved Lion.
He's a literal lion.
Yeah.
And he's Steven's pet, and he's a pink lion. And Steven can go into his mane. It's so cute.
It is cute, I will say.
It's so cute. He doesn't have a lot to add to the story, but he's a great animal companion.
Nah, he's chill. Connie. Well, actually, we've talked a lot about crystal gems. How about some of the humans that play a huge part?
Wait. We haven't talked about the two most important crystal gems.
Okay, which ones are?
Ruby and Sapphire.
Who are Ruby and Sapphire, which comes back to the main turning point of the plot. One of the biggest plot twists, which I want to go into in a minute after we're done with characters and lore and all that.
This is a spoiler.
This is a spoiler. I want to talk, but this is a huge spoiler that I want to talk about as a selling point for this show. Talk about Sapphire and Ruby, honey.
They're garnet. They're a fusion.
Yeah.
It's so cute. They're a couple, and they love each other. And there was it at least one episode, or was it a couple episodes when they defused?
There's a couple episodes where they definitely have defused.
Yeah,
but there was a big one that really cemented their relationship that we haven't gone into that spoiler for, and it led to obviously a lot of controversy in foreign countries because of this. But they got married. Like, real life married, which is fucking cute.
Oh, I love this show so much.
Yeah. Any other gems you want to talk about before we get into some of the human... I mean...
No.
Do you want to talk about any of the villains? Because they're not always villains, quote-unquote. There's another show where they're not always villains, quote-unquote. How do you feel about that with this show? Even Jasper in Future got a weird little redemption arc, in a way, as a loner.
Yeah. But I think it goes back to... Grief is not linear. Grief isn't the same for everybody.
Not even just grief.
But most of them are going through a form of grief. Even if it's not losing a person, they're losing the world that they grew up in.
Yeah.
Most of them are coming to take over or destroy the crystal gems because they have lost their world, because they are going through tough times, because... Some of them have been, I don't know what the right word for it is, but like frozen in time where like all that they remember is war. And now coming out of that, first of all, this is an allegory for PTSD and trauma and grief. Oh, it gets
bad with that, yeah.
And like, yeah, you're basically just, yes, they're considered villains, but they're not. They're experiencing a trauma in a way that... they know how to process, or that they are trying to process. And even if they're coming up, like Steven and Co do need to defeat them and make them see the error of their ways, they're not necessarily villains. And I do appreciate and understand that so much.
I want to put a cap on the villains, because the biggest one comes with a plot twist I want to talk about. And I want your thoughts on those guys specifically. I've already mentioned them, but let's kind of put a cap on these guys. I don't think there's any other big crystal gems that come to mind. Senti, which is the corrupted gem, which is a centipede that Steven befriends. That was fucking nuts. That he likes potato chips. Let's talk about the humans, though. We talk about the crystal gems. Obviously, Steven is half human at the end of the day. How do you feel about the human characters in this, and the grounding of reality for the crystal gems, not just like trying to raise Steven, but also trying to like figure out their conflicting and complex emotions when all they know is black and white for many things in their society?
I feel like, okay, the human characters, first of all, characters in general, even like the smallest character doesn't feel like a small character in this show.
Yeah.
And I love that. Every character has at least one episode dedicated to them, even Onion.
Fucking, I knew you were going to mention Onion. I knew, who's Onion, honey?
Onion is a little boy who does not speak.
Yes.
And he just is kind of a little bit of a menace.
He's a fucking psycho. He made Steven watch a video cassette tape of his birth. Steven literally is like, what's happening? And then all of a sudden you hear the noise, and he looks at the cassette tape, or the VHS tape, and he goes, "Is this your birth?" And Onion's just staring there, wide-eyed, blank stare. Like, literally, he's a psychopath.
He's a good boy.
He also breaks into stores. He literally commits robberies.
Listen, okay? He's doing his best.
He's a menace. He's a goddamn menace.
I love him so much, though. He is the one character who doesn't do much in the show, but you can always count on him. I love him so much.
Yeah.
And then we get into the characters that are a little more complex. Sadie and
Lars,
thank you. I forgot his name for a minute.
How can you? He's getting his own spin-off show.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Lars Across the Stars.
Oh my god, I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, but
even them, so like they are friends, but they have like a bit of a
they're
weird
older
relationship.
teenagers,
and it's like even getting some of their episodes every once in a while, it's just so
heartwarming,
fun and heartwarming and cute.
Lars also hates Steven, genuinely, for most of the show.
Yeah.
Because he's like the edgy older teen that comes off as cool as tough.
Yeah, I don't think he hates him. He's just very
Sibling dynamic.
Annoyed by him. Yeah. And
Sadie loves him.
Sadie, and even like Sadie and Lars, like they're best friends, but for the most part, Lars kind of gives her like a cold shoulder.
They like each other is the thing.
Yeah, and Sadie shows it. Lars doesn't really know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So getting their side, like it makes, like the human characters in this make it feel a little bit more grounded.
Yeah.
Compared to like the fantasy aspects with the crystal gems, which
for
I
sure.
really appreciate.
They're parallels to the gems where they're used to things being black and white and not complex at the end of the day, which is shown in the biggest two human characters, Mr. Universe himself, Gregory.
I was going to save him for last because he goes arguably through some of the most trauma.
And Connie.
Connie, I want to talk about next.
Okay.
Connie is Steven's friend.
Well.
Friend first.
Okay, sorry.
For the majority of this series, they are friends.
Yes.
And just like we're learning about the ongoings along with Steven and Amethyst, we're also learning along with her because she is learning this from scratch. She's a human. She's
also the kind of tether for Steven with his most human aspects.
She grounds him a lot.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely grounds him a lot, which then ties into their relationship because, you know, whether it's friendship or their evolving relationship down the line, she is also one of the first people to fuse with Steven. Mm-hmm. That's right. Human fusion, which could never be found before, but was symbolic and quite literal of humans' bonds with his human friends and his human loved ones. But so it's like the best of both worlds. What did you think of Stevani? That was the first big non-binary, I feel like, character that a lot of people quoted for a while. What did you think of Stevani?
It's an interesting character. I don't think it's my favorite fusion.
Which is fair.
But I like how much it really connects Steven and Connie. And just that dynamic as a whole, I love them as friends and as more down the line. Like the whole time you're shipping the two of them together because you know how much they care about each other, even when they're mad. I mean, even when they're not speaking for a while.
Even in like the case where like Connie literally throws herself into wanting to protect Steven quite literally at the behesting of Pearl too. Like Steven's like, this is too dangerous for you. Like she grounds him in a lot of ways, not just literally, but like emotionally too. It's very fascinating in my opinion. But she is a good character. She has her flaws too. As the big book nerd type of person who thinks she knows it all, but also is trying to be rebellious at the same time by being with the crystal gems, it feels like. But she's a great character in my eyes. That brings a lot to the human side, especially, that acts as another tether for the crystal gems, too. But, with that being said, you wanted to save Greg for last. Why?
Did. Okay, so Greg is Steven's father. He is a musician. And
former musician.
Well, I mean, he's still kind of a musician.
Well, not like the musician that like the rock star he once was on tour.
He's still a musician.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, he kind of starts this whole thing. Like, I mean, obviously, like not the whole thing, but he starts the Steven being alive thing.
Yeah. When a mother gem and a daddy human love each other very much, one of them dies, so the other is born.
And he is probably the coolest parental figure that I have ever seen in a children's TV show. Iroh. But
other than Iroh, right, okay.
He's an uncle.
He can be a parental figure. That's the whole arc. We've talked about that.
Well, yeah, he's a parental figure, yes, but I'm just saying.
Like a literal sense?
Like a literal sense. Thank you. That's what I said.
Fair enough. Okay.
Anyway,
carry on.
He's not exactly thrilled about Steven going on all these adventures, but he does go on them. And like we've talked about before, he is also at like the forefront of a lot of some of the crystal gems trauma, especially Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
And Pearl doesn't quite forgive him. We've gotten a couple of songs. Songs are another thing we need to talk about.
I wanted to wait for a bit for that one,
but we needed to talk a bit. Like, we've gotten a couple songs from Pearl specifically, trying to find a way to forgive him for taking the one that she loved away from her, and like, I mean, you do kind of sense like Pearl blames him.
Oh yeah.
Because if Steven wasn't born, if she didn't meet Greg, Steven wouldn't have been born, and then she wouldn't have lost the love of her life.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting dynamic, and you know for a fact that he loved her so much.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know if the show really goes into his trauma as much as it does Pearl's, or as much as it does the rest. Like, I feel like we could have gotten at least one.
There's been some good episodes with Greg though, like the time he got kidnapped by a diamond for a human zoo.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah.
They ended up being free anyways, so you know.
Yeah.
But wow, that was nuts to see. I was like, oh, but also, and he knows he's a smooth talker. He's literally the town flirt in a way. He fucked Rose Quartz, and then when that same diamond that kidnapped him comes back, he's like, oh, time to work the charm. No. Everyone's like, don't do it, please. He is a good character, though. Like, it's the opposite chill balance of Amethyst. He's not chilling to try to grieve. He's chilling because he doesn't want to overstress Steven and doesn't know what to do. Not just as a single parent, but a single parent raising with technically two mothers and a sibling from an outer space who he has no idea about their culture, but when he barely even understands human sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting dynamic because Greg doesn't live with Steven. Steven lives with the gems, and it's mainly for like a safety thing. But it's such an interesting dynamic to watch.
Yeah, absolutely is. So, any other characters you wanted to talk about? Bismuth was a good one.
Bismuth was a good one.
Bismuth was also the armory person for Rose Quartz, and Bismuth goes to the Ark because Rose Quartz designed something to kill gems essentially, and Bismuth has to go through this whole arc of trying to get out of that war mindset in a way, and it's great. We do see her for an episode, and then Steven bubbles her up after her gem core. That's another thing. When a gem's defeated, unless their gemstone's destroyed or corrupted, they can regenerate after a while. So Steven, to prevent this, because one of his powers is bubbling with really good protective bubbles, bubbled her gem up and was like, I'm going to figure something out. And then brought her back out for Garnet's wedding, which was hysterical. But any other characters? There's a couple villains. Aquamarine, the Ruby Brigade. There's a lot of characters, even more than Fairy Tail, that have really... Not more than Fairy Tail. Second to Fairy Tail, that has some huge moments for sure. But unless there's any other characters, I want to talk about, again...
Let's get into the plot.
The plot. So, we start to unravel Gem Society, Gem Corruption, which all ties together to the original cause of basically everything... the Diamond Regime. You want to explain the diamonds, honey?
No, I'm mad at them.
Okay. Well, there are 4 diamonds that are running the show. Have always run the show. White diamond, blue diamond, yellow diamond, and pink diamond. And the crystal gems were at war and signified war by killing Pink Diamond. Which then is, like you said, is the cause for a lot of things. A lot of people are grieving their leader. The Diamonds are grieving their sister, essentially. Yeah, sister. I forget their dynamic. They're a family dynamic, though. But they are all grieving to some degree. And that is the biggest thing about that is the Pink Diamond arc, along with Rose Quartz, which ties into, again, getting the Diamond Regime to stop their bullshit. Because if Steven wants to help uncorrupt the diamonds, he needs the help he realizes of every single diamond power. Except for Pink's. Because there's something big with that one, which I want to tie into. First of all, before we get into the big selling point for the show, how about the plot? What did you think when the lore really started to come together? Was it an interesting world? Was the dynamic... A lot of it was in this one beach city most of the time. And then undisclosed locations of different things, like forests and snowstorms, etc., etc. Some alien planets and colonizations, but that's about it. So, what did you think of the lore and the plot for this leading into everything?
This is such a good world. It's not necessarily a world that stands on its own.
Yeah.
But the way that when that plot finally hit, it made all of those episodes before it so much more worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I was invested right away. And, like, it's nice to have a show that's, like, episodic and you don't really need to pay attention to, or, like, kind of, like, I don't know why this jumped into my head, maybe because I was watching it the other day, but, like, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Yeah. You don't need to watch one episode in order to understand the other, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2. Yeah. But, like, it's nice to have a show like that you can go back to every once in a while. But there are very few shows, at least that I have watched, where you like start out this way, like episodic, and then immediately, like, the plot takes a while to kick in.
Fairy Tail.
I said very few. I didn't say it was the only.
I know, fair enough.
But once that plot hit, it was just, like, locked in immediately, and I'm so intrigued to see where this goes and what these plot twists are going to be, and boy, did we get them.
So let's go into the biggest thing with the plot twist. The biggest selling point of this is the plot twist and the foreshadowing. Constantly, whether it's through murals of the diamonds behind you, basically making you go, who the fuck is that? Or even the foreshadowing and sly moments slid in there of it, much like E&D and Natsu. What the biggest point is, like, the foreshadowing and the plot twists keep coming. Garnet definitely feels foreshadowed in retrospect. The diamonds were constantly a thing in the back of your mind leading up to the finale of Homeworld and bringing the fight to the diamonds, essentially. What did you think of the fact that these plot twists all do have a purpose, and what did you think of the foreshadowing retrospect? Do you feel like this show foreshadowed everything well?
Yeah, and then I think that's, like, foreshadowing is what gives this show, like, rewatchability, because you can go back and be like, oh, hey, that's where it really comes in together.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question?
The foreshadowing. What'd you think?
I hated it. You know why I hated it? Because I was supposed to hate it. Like, that's, like, you
hated Garnet?
The take on a good show. Well, no, but, like...
Eh?
No. I liked certain foreshadowing.
Okay.
There was a foreshadowing event that I did not like.
So let's talk about it.
Can we talk about it?
Hey,
That's the biggest spoiler of the entire show.
So April Fool's, Rose Quartz was actually Pink Diamond.
We didn't talk a lot about Rose Quartz, other than her being...
Because we don't know much about her.
Other than her being Steven's mom. We got, like, some flashbacks of her. And
she was the leader of the Crystal Gems, obviously.
Yes.
But there wasn't much known about her. So, yeah. Go ahead, honey.
I'm going to start keeping a counter.
Well, I mean, you paused, so that's your own
damn... No, I was talking.
Go ahead, keep going.
Anyway.
No, keep going. Keep going, no fusion time. She tried to fuck me on stream.
I was trying to kiss you.
She tried to fuse with me on camera.
Like me, oh my goodness.
Anyways, please continue, Pookie.
Well, now I don't know what I was going to say.
The Rose Quartz.
Yeah, there's not a lot known about her other than she's Steven's mother, other than she was a really big influence on a lot of these gems. They looked up to her. She's the reason that many of them are fighting. And then we find out she's fucking Pink Diamond.
Well, she also was the reason in Legend she killed Pink Diamond.
Yes.
Personally. It turns out Pink Diamond did not want to be a part of Homeworld, snuck away from her diamond siblings with the help of her servant Pearl to Earth, grew to love Earth, hid herself from the diamonds by transforming into a rose quartz, which are a thing. And how did she do that? Oh, by turning her diamond inside, so that way all you could see from the belly button was the top, like it's a rose quartz. And that is what Steven has inside him as well, because all you could see in his belly button is what looks like a rose quartz, but it's just a diamond from a top-down view. And she pretended that she got killed, so that way she could lead a life of peace after the war is done on Earth, triggering everything. What did you think of that plot twist?
Mad. I saw red.
You saw red immediately.
My thing, okay, here's my thing. And we see Steven really deal with the effects of learning this information as well. Mm-hmm. My thing is, you're allowed to have a life of peace. I understand that. I get that's what you want. However, when you create war and you choose to move on from life and create life, like, you're leaving it on
the next generation.
On the next generation. Your son. You're leaving it on your son's shoulders. You're leaving it on Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl's shoulders. You're leaving it on the love of your life's shoulders. Mm-hmm. To do something so selfish and to leave other people to pick up your mess made me so infuriatingly mad.
A lot of lives and gems got corrupted and killed because of her actions. Which is
infuriatingly mad.
Hey, how about we talk about that real quick? The diamonds themselves. There are 3 other diamonds. Blue Diamond, the emotional one that deals with her emotions by constantly being sad and projecting those emotions as her power onto others. Yellow Diamond, who is warmongering and total diva, Happy Pride Yellow Diamond, and the leader of them all, the White Diamond, who can basically possess other gems and speak through them. What did you think of the Diamonds? What did you think?
Okay, they weren't bad characters. A little,
Underbaked.
yeah, that's the word for it. Not the word underwhelming.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we spent so much time building them up to be these big bads. They weren't that big or bad. I mean, they were big. They weren't. They were bad.
Huge. They were Godzilla, but like also they were bad. I mean, they were, warmongering freaks that killed so many planets. Which I want to talk about since we're talking about the Diamonds.
Yeah.
The finale. Just how quickly we went right into fighting the Diamonds. Yeah. What did you think of that finale? Because that finale does a lot for this fandom. You either love it or you hate it, and you think they didn't deserve it. Because they are warmongering people that never really learned their lesson. And it does tie back to what I feel like a lot of people meme about with Steven Universe, is that you can defeat everything with friendship and bonds. Much like Fairy Tail in a way, but Fairy Tail is quite literally punching people in the face, calling it bonds, like tattooing it on your knuckles and saying friendship. This is quite literally song and word. What'd you think?
I mean, I think it made sense, but it made sense because that's who Steven was as a character.
But it definitely didn't have the build-up it should have.
But no, but like, I feel like it couldn't have gone any other way, because Steven has been taught his entire life, like, you could get down with and like get down to their level, but that's not who you are, and that's not who Steven is. And I feel like if it went any other way, it wouldn't make sense.
I think I also mean though in regards to like, because I do agree that that's the route it had to go. I do feel like I mean more so the Diamonds, because after this, when it comes to the movie and future, we act like nothing happened. We almost act like nothing happened. They weren't homicidal maniacs. They didn't completely ruin everything. What did you feel about that? Like, they literally were just snapping, we're good.
Yeah, no, that wasn't. I feel like that section of this whole franchise was a little rushed in general.
Oh, for sure.
Like, there definitely could have been more episodes in future.
We have to talk about that, I feel like, too, right?
We do.
So, but this finale, I mean, getting all the fusions was cool. And we did, again, going back to the foreshadowing, we did get the ultimate fusion of all four characters being Obsidian, which is the literal temple that they are at. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty fucking cool, at least. But do you feel like you had any sort of, like, nice resolve in you with the Diamonds? Or was it really just that underwhelming throughout?
I feel like with everybody except for Pink Diamond, I'm still mad at her.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
mean, you can't, like, yeah, you can blame the Diamonds, but you also can't blame the Diamonds. They think their sister's dead.
Yeah, but even before that, they were conquerors and, like, colonizers, which you can't forgive them for.
No, absolutely 100% not. And to gloss over that is wrong. And
it goes against history.
But at the same time, they did learn from their mistakes. At least...
Not in a way that felt, satisfying.
That is
the only one I feel like, I guess, could have the most quote-unquote pity is Blue Diamond. Because she is still, at the end of the day, somehow the most level-headed still.
Yeah.
And she is the first Diamond to realize that what Diamond is doing, their over-controlling matriarch is doing, is wrong, and that they are all being essentially abused into line, in a way, to be perfect little things.
Yeah.
Because White Diamond is a psychopath that wants everything perfect and pristine like her. Which is why when something goes wrong, she projects herself onto them and possesses the gems. Which is very creepy. Very, very creepy. Especially because one of the things she actually possesses, for whoever knows how long, is Pink Diamond's old pearl. Which is fucking nuts. But I feel like Blue Diamond had the most level-headedness at times. She just couldn't cope with her emotions because she didn't have that outlet like the crystal gems did. Mm-hmm. But she does get it. And honestly, she's honestly the nicest of the bunch in a way. Like, it doesn't excuse her, but if you have to look at something, they built up Blue Diamond the best, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's like her character dynamic, though. I feel like not to. I mean, no, I am going to. Like, I feel like people with depression who are a little bit like who show sadness a little bit more are more understanding in general because they know how it feels like. They're much more empathetic.
Yeah.
And I feel like that fits her character completely. It makes more sense that she is the way that she is because of her depression.
Honestly, the only Diamond I feel like that was the most underwhelming is White Diamond. Like, we see her the least because she's obviously the last 4 or 5 episodes. We barely see her. Even, like, Yellow Diamond still, I wish, had some great closure, too. But White Diamond was so disappointing for the build-up we had for her throughout the entire series. Like, no matter how much we knew about Blue or Yellow, it felt like White Diamond was always the most towering. I mean, even, like, looking at, you know, montages describing the gems, their powers, we always saw that third mysterious white hand that was White Diamond conquering planets, and of all the planets that were conquered, she may have conquered the least, I think, but it was always the biggest ones that they showed. And it made her the most intimidating, which set her up for the biggest failure, I felt like.
We've talked about that a couple of times on this podcast, though, is like when you have that big setup, it's really hard to pull off. We talked about it in Fairy Tale. We talked about
Acnologia.
We talked about it when we were talking about the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
And like just having this idea, like anything that you can imagine in your head, it's usually 10 times bigger than what actually ends up occurring.
And it's about how you do it. And I wish we got more time. Much like, okay, who would win? Acnologia or White Diamond?
White Diamond.
No.
Yes.
No, I got Acnologia.
No, fuck that.
Acnologia eats all types of magic. He would absolutely solo White. Sound off in the comments if you know both.
Poked, and the man died. Just saying.
He also got ripped in half by the Fire Dragon King, or his arm ripped off. Sorry, no, Igneal got ripped in half. You're not over that. I'm sorry,
anyway.
But I feel like that was the most disappointing.
Yeah.
But this does set up Steven Universe the movie, which was a little underwhelming, but I still liked it. It felt like a recap of the show. Because Spinel, who's the main villain, is an old friend of Pink Diamond, and the main thing about the show is her weapon and her power is she can literally revert you back to your original form. Your original programming, as it's called. So Pearl is a servant again. Spinel is this goofy, cartoonish, rubber hose-like character. Sapphire and Ruby are no longer Garnet. You've got fucking Amethyst reverting back to Baby. What'd you think of the movie? I feel like this is a quick one, and then we can go into future and probably talk about the songs and then wrap it up.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the movie?
I'm gonna be so honest. Now that you said the name Spinel, I remember it a little bit. I don't remember it enough to really.
It's okay. It literally was just like, basically it was another thing where it's like, hey, Pink Diamond fucked up, and now you got to pay for her actions because she. We'll get to that with future, but that is the plot essentially. But Steven Universe does make it right, and you get to reacquaint yourself with the lore of all the characters. You get to reacquaint yourself with that Garnet romance. You also get Greg and Steven fusing, which shows that fusion doesn't have to just be a love bond. It can be if it wasn't clear enough with Steven fusing with the gemstones, like it doesn't have to be a romantic bond. It can be any sort of love. And the love between father and son was a great example. And people thirst over that fucking fusion. You fucking freaks. Chill the fuck out. It's Elvis, but with weird mullety country hair. Cool, you fucking Anyways. But it's an okay movie. It's cute. The songs are good. But the overall plot is like, let's recap Steven Universe, setting up the segue between the end of Steven Universe into the finale epilogue series, because Steven does grow up in the movie. He is like full-fledged teenager now. He's not just a preteen / early teen. He is a full-fledged teenager. He's taller and all that. Actually, we haven't talked about the most important character of the show, Steven.
I know, we kind of glazed over him.
Yeah, how about your buddy Steven, honey?
Oh, man. He grows so much in this series. And it's, in some ways, it is hard to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Because he is left with the weight of his mother's decisions.
Yep.
Even before we figure out who his mother actually is, he's left dealing with the war that she ran. And it's really tough because he's a kid. He's a little kid. And yes, we're watching him grow. Yes, we're watching him fight and learn because he's half human. He's half gem. Mm-hmm. And like we're watching him discover his powers and deal with trying to be like a normal kid, but also be a gem. But then as he grows up, it just becomes harder and harder because you are getting like to the base of that plot.
Which we can talk about really quick with the future. Steven Universe future.
Steven Universe future is where that mental health and that PTSD really comes into play.
Because it does answer the biggest question of children's TV. Hey, what happens if our characters do grow up and are fucked up from all the weird shit that they've seen? And also the consequences of everyone's actions, especially their mother. What happens? Basically, it's that. So let's think about that. What did you think of Future? It's 10 episodes. It was basically like leading up to the finale of what the culmination of Steven's pented up emotions are. What did you think of this show? Because it felt like Steven watched everyone around him grow and didn't know how to grow himself, and then finally burst under all that pressure after all these years.
Yeah, it was tough. It has a different vibe. We do open with like a really bright and happy song, and you think like you're gonna get the same vibes that you did from the original show, and you don't. It really gets darker right after the intro song. You see Steven. Oh man, it's tough. It's tough to talk about.
Well, also, gems and humans live together now. Beach City is now a gem society too, as a result of ending the war and freeing all the corrupted gems. So, it is tough. I mean, he watches everybody build their lives around him, and he doesn't know what he wants. He ends up pushing away people more than I know. I think he didn't like this when it first came out. You felt underwhelmed.
It's not that okay. So I think first of all, it was 10 episodes. And some of those episodes kind of like retreaded past episodes
for
as well.
Sure.
Like it felt a little too long. I think in this case, like a few episodes shorter would have been even better and really like pushed the mark home.
Yeah.
Because once we get that idea of like Steven's depressed and like he's trying, I mean, okay, I get it, but like I also don't get it because again, growth isn't linear. Healing is not linear. Even if you say like I'm gonna get better, I'm going to try and like, get better and be healthier. It's not always gonna happen overnight, and sometimes you might stumble, and sometimes you might go backwards. So I get why it's 10 episodes.
I mean, one of the biggest things is that he also realizes he can't always fix everybody because his old enemies, Aquamarine and one of the Ruby leaders, end up fusing together somehow and come back for their revenge. And he's like, nah, I think we... And he's like, I don't know about this. But then he's like, oh, maybe they can turn a new leaf like I thought. Which is very, very conflicting for Steven, considering it's his old self and his new self. So that was an important episode, I feel like. And I feel like this series did have episodes where most of them still had a purpose, even if they were retreading. Lapis Lazuli, that episode sticks out to me. It's the most retready, I feel like, but it's important for Lapis because Lapis hasn't gotten to fully shine. Mm-hmm. She had some good moments and like she had some good growth, but this was that nice resounding solo episode where like, yeah, well, not solo completely, Steven's there obviously, solo without Peridot much really episode where she really gets to stand out and show her growth at the end of the day, which was nice. But yeah, that wonderful, wonderful thing called Pink Diamond comes to head because if there wasn't already an issue with Pink Diamond, wow, this series really painted her in a terrible light because she is a terrible person, actually. She literally threw tantrums, which we know because she wanted her own planet. So Earth was a game to her originally, anyways. Not only that, she was incredibly abusive. There was a thing where like Steven, one of his powers is healing people, which we haven't talked about much, but he licks with his spit and like he heals you, which was nuts. I loved how they incorporated his powers, but fucking Pink Diamond's old Pearl has like a crack through her eye, and he tries to heal her but can't. So Pearl is like, "Oh, let's take her to the old Diamond old facility to heal her," and also is like losing her mind and trying to be snobby because at this point she knows what Pink Diamond is like, but she's trying to pretend like as if she isn't reeling from this still, as the other Diamond is like, oh, Pink Diamond wouldn't do this. And Pearl's like, oh, someone's a little bit caught up in their feelings for her. Wink. Which, depending on how you view Pearl up until this point, can really get on your nerves. But it turns out that the injury to Pink Pearl is permanent. Not because it was of anything bad in regards to, like, fixable. It was a scarring thing. Like, she literally got it because, as Pink Pearl put it, you know how Pink Diamond is with her tantrums. That, I think, really solidified fuck you, Pink Diamond. As if everything else wasn't bad enough. She was such a brat that literally left the world for Steven, and you see it shine through because you see shades of Pink Diamond bursting through as Steven's powers become untamable and his complex and weird emotions he's feeling and the trauma he's feeling just suddenly surge up. And I think the other big episode is when he went to Connie's mother, who's a doctor, to talk about all this, and she's like, oh, have you been through anything traumatic after reading your CAT scans? And he's like, well, there was this time and this time and this time. And there's this serious moment where this whimsical kid series with interesting stakes makes you realize, he's fucked up. It has a moment. What'd you think of all that, honey? This was just closing the final coffin nail for Pink Diamond, it felt like, for everybody. And this felt like Steven finally figuring who he is.
I hated every minute of it. It's like Steven up until this point was a happy kid, even when he was going through those stressful times. Like, he looked on the bright side in his town. Like, there were so many moments in the show where he's just walking around town, he's getting donuts, he's
getting the
talking.
bits.
He's the happiest kid in town, and that's like one of the reasons that Lars doesn't like him so much, is because he's always so happy. And seeing the complete 180 for Steven, like, it gets you emotional.
Especially because he does kind of become Pink Diamond in a way in the second to last episode, or the third last, one of the two. He goes and visits the Diamonds to see if they can help him, and they're trying to make things right in their own way, and White Diamond is doing it by letting people essentially control her. So she lets Steven do that, which then unlocks this moment where he's like, I'm gonna shatter her, and he almost ends up killing White Diamond by bashing her head in. Yeah. And he actually shattered Jasper too. Basically almost shattered Jasper, I think. Yeah. In anger.
And this is like a really good representation of generational trauma.
And also unchecked emotions and bipolar, depression, this and that, whatever you want to say. It's a good rep of all those type of things because it's not just his mother's trauma, obviously. It's his unchecked, untherapied, whatever you want to call it, whether it's medication, therapy, etc. It's unchecked, and it finally bursts, and he snaps at everything.
Yeah, I did appreciate this one, though, because I didn't even think about it the way that until you said it, that this shows, like, what it's like for, our heroes when they're children, like, after they have completed these grand tasks. Nobody ever really explores, like, what happens next.
Yeah. And
I think this is a really good representation of that, and I'm really glad you put it that way, because I didn't think about that until it came out of your mouth.
I sometimes good things come out of my mouth, honestly. But it's
like, will you go out with me?
Yeah.
Aww.
But, like, I think it's a great series. I think it's a fantastic series. I know people go back and forth on it, but I think it's fantastic for that. Especially the last 2 episodes where Steven essentially is corrupting into this giant monster, and it's up to everybody to save him, essentially. Like, you really do get the feeling that they really are a family despite everything.
Yeah, and I mean, there are some moments where it's harder to see that than in others. But Steven's the one thing that connects them. Like, there are so many times that they could have split up and gone their separate ways, but they're here to look after Steven, and Steven is the glue that's holding them all together, which is kind of trauma in and of itself. Like, they say if you're a parent and you aren't, like, your relationship isn't working out well, to don't stay just because of the kid, because that puts so much pressure on the child, and, like, in a way, like, it's pressure for Steven too, because I mean, yeah, I knew where I was going with that, and then I lost it.
I get
It's
what you
also
mean,
midnight.
Though. It is basically midnight, yeah. But speaking of the finale, let's talk about that. Do you feel more satisfied with this finale than the Diamond finale? Basically, Steven is uncorrupted. He's getting healthier routines, and he decides to venture out into the world for himself. And this then triggers him saying goodbye to everybody and giving them gifts and all these fun things. Connie, obviously, and him are still good. And then he eventually tries to say goodbye to the crystal gems, and they're all kind of like monotone the whole time, like as if they went back to their old routine, like, hey, we're happy for you. And then they try to let him go. What did you think of this finale?
It's bittersweet.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't enjoy it. I think it does make sense, and it's good to see Steven going out on his own and trying to do something new.
Yeah.
But you're not ready for the adventures to be over.
You were sobbing.
Well, yeah.
You were sobbing.
Yeah, because
I
there
think
are so many really, really good adventures that they could have gone on together.
Yeah.
And it makes it... But, like, at the end of the day, he has to grow up. He has to get away from his parents. And
he has to get away from his past.
Exactly. And that's what I mean by parents. In a lot of the ways the crystal gems raised him. And he needs to find himself before he goes on any more of those adventures. And it was what was needed for him.
Do you feel like it was much better deserved and more refined as an ending than the Diamonds, you would say?
Yeah.
I feel like this was like, say what you will about the battle with Steven as a monster, but this as a whole felt like the finale we deserved, because it's closing everything. It's answering those questions. Yeah, the Diamonds are still the Diamonds, and you don't get the full resolve. But it does finally get to beg the question, hey, we never really resolved anything that Steven went through. Is he okay? And no, but he will be. You really sobbed during this one. I don't know what made you sob harder. The ending of Fairy Tale, Avatar, or Steven Universe. I don't know what did.
Not Fairy Tale, because there was still open, like, it was still
you were misty-eyed
open for...
At least.
I was, because it was the end of an era, but we have a 100-year quest.
Yep.
Not Avatar, because I feel like I was more mad about that ending, because there were still so many unanswered questions, even though we did get the comics.
It was still a good ending. Fuck you.
No, I think this one made me cry the most, because I wasn't ready for it to be over.
I mean, also, too, the gems finally break, because Steven drives off into the distance, and he loops back, and he's like, the fuck is wrong with you people? And they finally break. And it really cements it together. And they break in their own way. Amethyst is outright emotional. Garnet just explodes like a wall while speaking drywall. And Pearl is a gibbering mesh.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I mean, it fits for all of them.
It does. It was a very nice ending, though. And we got to see the endings for people like Peridot and Lapis and Bismuth, which was great, too. I mean, those are... Again, nobody felt like a secondary character, even when they were a secondary character, it felt like. But they all got some really satisfying conclusions at the end. Yeah. So, yeah. But
it still makes me sad, though. I feel like we could have gotten a lot of seasons, a lot of episodes, a lot of just more love and adventures and fun.
It has to end at some point.
It does open it up for maybe a possible spin-off.
which we're getting because it's Lars Across the Stars.
Well, yes, but also maybe like bringing back Steven and everything. Like it does leave potential.
It does. Okay, to be fair, Lars actually died, and then the healing powers of Pink Diamond basically made him pink, much like Lion, which means Lion died, and Pink Diamond revived him. Let that sink in your head at some point. But basically, Lars with these fugitive fusion gems, because fusion was illegal for a while, basically decide, hey, we're gonna go across the stars together. That was a funny crew. They were all precious. There was like a 7-gem fusion, and I feel like this show really did explore romantic bonds too. 7 gems is like a huge poly thing, which is cute. And while I am definitely not poly, I can respect the hustle. So, you were nodding. I was gonna say, were you poly? Do you have to open something up on the podcast? Nope. That was cute. What was her name? Oh my god, what was her name? That was like Sapphire, but she was predicting the future late.
She predicted the future.
Oh my
but
god,
it was
she
like
was
5
so
seconds late.
Fucking funny.
I love her.
My favorite moment is when Garnet gets to meet all the fusions. She's like, "Wow, you guys look great," and they all don't know how to feel, and they think that she's making fun of them. And she's like, "Wow, look at you," and she kind of looks and she goes, "I'm predicting you're making everyone uncomfortable." She was so fucking funny. I loved her so much.
Yeah, I loved her. She was my favorite.
Yeah, but okay, we talked about it. Anything else you want to tie up before we get to the last big point?
Music.
All right.
Music,
Songs.
Music.
Honey, tell me about the
This is a
song.
musical show, if you didn't know.
A lot of songs.
A lot of songs.
What'd you
Starting
think?
with the opening number. We are the crystal
We don't need the
gems.
whole musical number, but thank you anyways, honey. But it's a good song. It's a ukulele song. Did you want to finish it?
And Steven!
Okay, thank you. You timed that very well, I feel like. And then there's Future, where they're saying Steven Universe Future, here we are, and it's Peridot going, Steven Universe Future! Fucking Peridot, Jesus Christ. Shout out Peridot.
I love Paradise.
But this is a very musical show. What'd you think of the songs?
I was actually listening to some of them yesterday. Re-listening to them, because we were supposed to film this podcast yesterday.
Whoops.
But we didn't. We're filming it today.
Yes.
And I was listening to some for like a refresh. Some of them are
Sad.
Some of them are not as good as I remember.
Like what?
Oh, that's a really good question.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of the songs are really good because they serve a purpose of conveying the character's emotions.
Yeah, I feel like they're better when you're watching the show. Like, you can't just listen to the playlist.
Okay, yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Like, it definitely is different in that regard, yeah.
But no, I think all the songs served a purpose. I think they were all sung really, really well.
Garnets are always the best.
Yes.
Your Honor, there's nothing Garnet can do wrong.
Like, some of them are more silly than anything. Like, some of
Peace and Love.
Greg's songs
Oh, for sure.
are just silly.
Peace and Love on the Planet Earth, which was Peridot and Steven's song, was adorable.
Yes, like, so many amazing songs that, like, even if you're not watching the show, you can jam to.
Mainly
my
Garnet.
personal favorite was a Garnet song.
Which one?
And, what was it called?
Was it Stronger Than You?
Stronger Than You!
When she was facing Jasper?
Yes, that one was my favorite.
I love that one.
It was a bop.
Here Comes a Thought, when she's teaching Stefani how to, like, fuse and be proper.
It was a bop.
It was a cute one. I love this. I loved... Garnet always is, like, peak character, whether it's songs or character moments or whatever. She's always the best. Hands down. I would say Garnet songs are always the best. I really love It's Over, Isn't It? Which was one of Pearl's coping songs.
Yes.
That's huge.
That was the big song of her coming to terms with Rose Quartz being gone and with Greg being the one that she chose.
Yeah. That was one of the big ones for sure. There's Cookie Cat, which was a silly song for sure. Fucking Cookie Cat. He left his family. Why is there lore about an ice cream sandwich? I want to know.
Because it's Steven Universe. And
Fair
Steven
enough.
Universe is magical.
But there's some good shows in this. There's some good songs in this. Garnet always reigns on top.
Oh, always.
I love True Kind of Love from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That I felt like was like deserving in its own right of being in the movie. Spinell's song was good.
Mm-hmm.
Spinell's songs were good. Other Friends felt like a villain song in the most classic Disney sense from the 90s, and I loved it. And then her song of Drifting Away, where she's remembering herself and how, like, Pink Diamond basically got annoyed with Spinell's playful, rubber-hosy personality and was like, hey, we forgot to mention that part. Hey, how about you sit in this garden until I come back? And Spinell did. For years. And years and years and years. Fuck Pink Diamond.
I'm so mad.
Oh, Pink Diamond is easily one of the worst people of all time in animation. Mad. But the songs are all fantastic, and they implement different types of instruments, which is beautiful.
And even if, like I get it, maybe Rose Quartz did, make a complete personality change, whatever. You are no longer forgiven because of just the way that you decided to leave.
Oh, she never met a character change. She just ignored it.
Oh, I know, and that's like the biggest thing. And I wish we got like more of Greg's reaction.
Oh, Greg's reaction would have been hard.
It would have been hard, but like I think we needed it. Like, and I mean, I think it would have been tough to show because Greg never wants to say anything bad about Steven's mother to Steven, but like I think we would have needed that, like, for him to realize that she wasn't as amazing as he made her out to be.
Yeah.
Like, she was a lot more human than she let on.
In a very weird, twisted sense. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got nothing else.
No, I got nothing else either, and I would like to go to bed.
Do you want to give your final thoughts?
I love Steven Universe. I do think I would go back to it. I think it's just such a fun show. Even when it does get more serious, you're always guaranteed at least one laugh.
Yeah, and one cry.
And one cry.
And one cry. Your favorite laugh, the humor can be good in this show, but your favorite laugh will always be Peridot.
Oh, Peridot 100%.
Like, literally makes your grandma...
I'm telling you, she is me in gem form.
Literally makes your noises like...
That's what I'm saying. And you had the nerve to question it.
I always do.
Why are you
Your favorite episode was a spin-off episode where they're trying to catch... Steven and Peridot are catching corrupted gem. And it's very Roadrunner and Coyote-esque. And then it starts making noises with its tongue, going, "What?" And then Peridot's like, "I got an idea." And it starts hopping like a frog, going, "Bleh." I had never seen her lose oxygen so fast in my life. And it was like maybe a 30-second scene of Peridot hopping around, going, "Bleh." Like, I don't understand it at all. You just were losing it. She is, but I feel like there are funnier moments in this show.
No, I love her.
I know you do.
Because she's such like a serious little being. Like, don't insult her height, or she's coming at you. You're getting called a Claude, 100%.
Yep.
Like, but she's just, it's so funny. And seeing those, like, moments of her angry, grumpy personality, it's hilarious.
It's hysterical watching her talk about her teen dramas.
And I don't think we ever mentioned, like, she's a scientist. So even, like, a moment like that, she's studying. And they
have a child, Lapis and Peridot. Yes, they have a living pumpkin named Pumpkin. They have a pumpkin dog. And it's hysterical every time.
Oh, I love them so much.
They have one of the most underrated relationships in the show, I feel like. Especially when, like, Steven's gone. And, like, it's up to Connie, Peridot, and Lapis to all, like, you know... And Pumpkin to, like, all protect the town.
Get the crown, save the town.
And basically... No, wrong thing. And, like, basically, they each call roles on who to be. And fucking... Peridot's like, I get to be Garnet. And they're arguing. And she's assigning roles. She's like, I'm the leader. I'm the cool one. You can be nagging Pearl. You know... And he looks at Lapis and she's like... She looks at Lapis like, you can be Amethyst. And Amethyst just dryly goes, which one is she? I'm joking. The baseball episode's fucking hysterical. The fact they all played baseball disguising themselves as humans so they couldn't find Peridot against the Rubies. Like, oh my god, the roll call. We're the humans, Steven, Earl, Amy, and then just fucking Lapis Lazuli who looks like she wants to die going, Bob. Like, not even, like, they all had names related to, like, their gemstone, but fucking Lapis was just so done. I don't know where she pulled Bob out, but I feel like Lapis really is me in retrospect. You're so right, actually. Oh my god.
I love it.
She's such a fucking sweetheart. But no, I love this show.
Yeah, it is. It's an amazing show, and I'm glad we watched it. It's probably not like, it doesn't rank as high as Fairy Tale or Avatar, in my opinion.
It's up there, I feel like, though, for you.
Well, yeah, but not like out of the 4 that we're watching, it's probably
the bottom.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so before we get into my next question, because of that, I do want to say I really am glad I gave the show a shot. I was someone in high school that hated newer animation because it was edgy, so you caught me hating regular show and Adventure Time for a little bit. You caught me hating Amazing World of Gumball for a little bit. You caught me hating Steven Universe especially because it was so stupid in edgy teens' mind. But, like, it's a very beautiful show that I'm glad I actually gave a chance when I grew up in college. And it's a beautiful show that I still think about a lot. The songs are very much lovely. I love the animation. I love the whole ideas. Again, I'm very disappointed in the build-up for the Diamonds and their payoff, but in regards to the mental health aspect, especially for Steven, I think the show is one of the best front runners for, like, mental health advocacy in the show, whether it's grieving, PTSD, depression, trauma in general, bipolar, anxiety, etc., as a mental health advocate. And hey, non-binary rep, so I guess that started it for me. But it's a really, really amazing show that I think is worth the watch after a while. But one final question before we introduce our next one. I want you to rank the 4 pieces of media that I've introduced you to.
We're gonna save that for...
we're
saving that for
No, I want to save it as the big reveal. I want to do this as the big reveal because I know the next one is your number 1 favorite media. Let's do it. Do it. No, come on.
No.
You're such a fucking asshole.
Because it's actually... It's
you
not.
never... What?
It's not.
Oh.
It's not.
Well, shit. Now I want to actually know the ranking.
You will see in the wrap-up.
No, this is fucking lame. The wrap-up is the episode itself. Just fucking say it.
Anyway.
Oh, you're the worst.
So,
it's not very Steven Universe of you.
Our next episode is our first touch into video games.
Yes.
It is actually the very first piece of media that Benson ever introduced me to. Probably 11, 12 years ago.
Yes.
And it was because I had just gotten my PlayStation 3. My mom got me a PlayStation 3 after I had played with my cousins for so long.
It came with Assassin's Creed 3, I remember.
It came with Assassin's Creed 3,
which
and she got me The Last of Us, which was one of the games that I loved so much. And I had happened to ask my bestest friend, Benson, who I knew was a gamer, for some game recs. And one of the games that you told me to get was Dead Space, which had alien-looking chickens.
Oh my god.
But another one of the games that Benson told me to get was Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, that stupid ass series, whatever it's called compared to Dead Space. Yeah, this is the big one.
We will be talking about Kingdom Hearts. This is probably going to be one of our longer episodes because there will be so much to go through.
As if we haven't glazed over a lot when talking about these last 3.
Yeah, but I guarantee it'll be, like, this might rival our Star Wars prequel trilogy episode, which is by far our longest episode.
We're going to surprise ourselves. Either it's going to be our longest or our easiest episode and shorter.
I don't think so. There's so much to talk about. So, join us next time when we talk about Kingdom Hearts.
And wrap up our anniversary talks. Anyways.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us in the Catch-Up Corner. We love you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Good night.